Hey everybody, today is August 5th, 2022. I'm Gene.
And I'm Zane.
And welcome to Hanging with Uncle.
How's it going, man?
Good. It's been an interesting week. How was yours?
You know what? It's my first full week of work that I didn't have any training. Besides an hour of learning about one area that I took. So, little recap. My training for 6 weeks was about one specific area, and then I learned about one specific area today in an hour. So, I mean, my week's great, but work has been, I think, the big factor of the week. And also being the support system, I think, this week. That's kind of been the deal.
Well, I know for the past couple of weeks, I've had issues with my side and stuff, but we're back in the saddle.
Yeah,
today
you're doing great.
We are smoking garlic skunk.
Hell yeah, and it's pretty good.
It's very flavorful, man.
It's tasty.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's, I was surprised to have a garlic flavor, but
it actually
it
does.
works.
Yeah, hey, I like it actually. It's making me kind of hungry, but I'm good. I'm definitely good. Now, we're doing a little social experiment today too with YouTube, so
we'll see
what's going on.
Not gonna say what it is.
Yeah, not talking about it, but we're also challenging ourselves on Hanging with Uncle today. So again, hit that like button today for us, please, and subscribe is definitely Let us know what you're smoking because we're chilling and smoking here too. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about life today, definitely.
So honestly, pay yourself. I think we've kind of gotten off track with pay yourself a little bit.
We have, and seeing what I have done with improvements with money and seeing what I've been teaching my girlfriend with improvements with money, we literally were talking about we have rent coming up, blah blah, and I totally forget I get paid weekly. Yeah. So it's Friday was coming around, I got paid. I was like, oh man,
covered.
Yeah, so nice. So it's pay yourself. Take care of yourself. You're also a bill. We've said that. We haven't said that in a while.
So I'm also noticing Sundial.
Yes.
Is back on the way up.
It's moving. It's grooving.
That's ticker symbol SNDL.
It gives me that old school Tesla vibe that we originally started on back in our day when we started learning about stock. We hopped on that Tesla wagon when it was at $50.
We made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But this, again, like I talked about, a few weeks ago, man, I feel like where we are right now is on the same place with Boardwalk Empire when they were ending prohibition. Anybody that owned alcohol stock.
Yeah. I mean, advice here from, not coming from us, but it's just our opinion. We got to make sure we're sticking to opinions when we're talking about this topic. But when you notice and pay attention to current events, you do see a reflection in your stock.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've been looking at it. And, if you invest towards events that are current and they become something new, then it helps. It really does help helps the market, definitely, especially with something new on the market.
So, which kind of brings me to a segue I want to talk about. Legalization and Brittany Griner.
Yes, let's go on that.
We know Brittany Griner is in jail for having just traces of oil, right?
Yeah. In a country.
De minimis. She was convicted for drug trafficking. How are you going to traffic something that's de minimis?
Yeah. So that's where I come in. I know I've openly preached on the show that, yes, I feel like she should be punished for doing something illegal in another country that we have no power in because it's another country. But, the severity of the punishment, 9 years for trafficking.
For trafficking.
That's not we here at in America, for the possession that she had, she would have probably seen maybe a year minimum.
So when you're thinking of trafficking, you're talking about pounds, kilos. You're talking about moving substantial quantities.
She had cartridges.
She had empty cartridges.
Yes. So it's that's where I'm okay, now it's gotten silly. Now I feel like there's something else screwy going on with this. Probably because you're also a gay black woman in a place that thinks that is not okay as well and illegal, right?
Yeah, they jail you just for being gay.
So it's I'm sure that's one reason why there's extra years on there. But also it's I feel like they're trying to submit a trade, kind of do a whole NBA trade deal, not to make a joke of it, but it feels like they're trying to make her seem more of a bad guy, so it would be a good trade for this good old arms deal that we've been talking about.
Yeah, but my big question, just kind of throwing it out there to everybody, let us know what you think about this question in the comments section. Do you think that our Congress, that our Senate and House members are now going to be motivated to do something with legalization, in support of Brittany Griner to show, look, what she's doing in the United States is not a big deal?
True. I mean, they could do that, but like Russia doesn't care. Like, obviously they don't care. Like, yes, what I said earlier, like, she could see jail time here, but that's only in states that have it illegal.
But again, here it's legal where she is. So
in certain areas, like I'm saying, like there is some states where she probably could have gotten arrested for having it. Like, but
if in Texas, but
yeah, but like for like a year though, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the severity of the punishment in Russia being 9 years is just that's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting at. Like, that's just so crazy that it's 9 years. But the U.S. is working on its magic, I guess, to try to bring her home, even though we still have people here incarcerated for it. I mean,
right?
I don't know, man.
There's a lot of hypocrisy going on around this issue.
I talk about wasted energy, and there's a lot of wasted energy I've been seeing in our government lately. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm not saying she's wasted energy, but if you're going to try to make amends in trades and deals with another country that has a different viewpoint about this topic, you should probably fight for the people that are literally in your country that need fighting for as well.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying that should be a reason for legalization here in our country. Not just because in support of Brittany Griner, but for the people who are here that are misrepresented and put in jail for possession.
Well, that would mean that Joe Biden would have to keep a campaign promise, because he talked about legalization as part of his criminal justice reform.
Exactly. And
what you waiting on, Joe?
Yeah, let us know how you feel about that, because I feel like that's a good question, because you can get a lot of different opinions about that, and I do like a conversation, especially different viewpoints on issues like this, because if you're willing to trade an arms dealer who has killed people, you have just drone struck on somebody who has killed people. Is it the same severity of Brittany Griner?
It's like playing rock, paper, scissors in 3D.
I guess so, and your rock is massive and these scissors are tiny. Or the paper's tiny, I guess, even though paper wins. But it's just, I don't know, man. If you're not going to uphold this energy to help these people here in our country, but you're going to use this energy to trade an arms dealer for a basketball player who mistakenly took weed to a place that's illegal, I mean, I don't know. What's your opinion on that? We got to know about that one. That's just how I feel, though. I mean, it may be rough, it may be tough, but like you gotta talk the talk and walk the walk. You know what I mean?
Well, that brings
me
where's
to
the walk? Another point. Talk about doing something for people in this country. It looks like the Inflation Reduction Act, or IRA, is going to pass and help the people in this country. So for those of you who don't know about the Inflation Reduction Act, it is a bill that invests in America. It invests in clean energy. There's a lot in this bill to fight global warming and produce green energy to help the climate.
Good.
There's a lot in this bill that goes to help, that allows Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices, which means they'll be spending less on prescription drugs. So if you're spending less, that sounds like a good thing to me.
Absolutely.
We're always talking about spending less in government waste, right?
Absolutely.
So let's cut that spending, and they're addressing that. That sounds like a good thing to me.
Agreed.
It also will lower government spending as a result of this. They're estimating by $300 billion every year.
That could fund something else.
Or, you can use it for education, maybe help pay down the national debt.
Maybe train these cops better.
There's lots of different things to do, but
fund businesses that are supporting marijuana.
It also imposes a minimum 15% corporate tax on a lot of these companies that make so much money they pay no taxes, like Amazon or Apple or these oil and gas industry companies. Right. They're the ones who have been driving prices up, not the government. The government does not own one gas station or one oil company. This is all private business gouging by the oil company.
Well, I mean, we have been seeing gas prices go down, trickling down, but
They've gone down every day for 51 days now. Like you said, trickling, but down is down.
Down is down, and it eventually will get to a point to where we're happy, but eventually to a point where it'll go up again. But if we were to, like you said, cut costs and filter money somewhere else, that's a win for me. That's definitely a win for me. Like, in any way, shape, or form.
But, I hear Republicans, like I listen to Mitch McConnell talking about how Democrats want to spend all this money during an inflation. Dude,
Right.
You're just using the same old talking points that, number one, are lies, and number two, don't make any sense, because it does address spending, and it makes corporations start to pay their fair share.
Right. And then to top it off, like right now, it sounds like we're trying to put more money into our economy because, unemployment's dropped 33.5%. Like, that's more jobs.
Very low, so we're not in a recession.
Yeah, that's more money going into our economy. So we're getting to that point to where, we're starting to accumulate money, maybe, or making those moves. But
I think those things. So I'm not messed up about these multi-million and billion-dollar companies having to pay 15% because pay your fair share, and that's another lie Republicans are talking about. They're talking about it's going to raise your taxes. No, it's only going to raise your taxes, the rich people. It's not going to raise my tax any, because remember, your taxes are based on a percentage of what you pay. There's a schedule. So because the billionaires got to pay more taxes now doesn't mean I am. Stop lying. My taxes aren't going up a penny.
No. Right. Exactly. No, I agree. Like, it's just, we're money smart. We just gotta be money smart. We talk about it here on Uncle. Like, pay yourself. We're starting to pay ourselves with everyone working, more jobs, more workspace. Again, we talked about legalization earlier. Legalization in Canada literally could support their defense. What could it support for us if we actually legalize it completely here?
When marijuana gets legalized here in the United States, it's going to create a new crop of wealth generation people.
The new cash crop to our
That's
country.
right.
That's what I've been saying.
That's right.
It's our new cash crop. But it looks like we're making money moves. Again, hopefully these Democrats keep doing it, man.
And if they legalize marijuana, guess what? Now we're putting more money into the economy with another, industry. They're trying to put it under the health industry, but
cutting spending. If we move that cut spending into another place where it needs that money, and then we're also gaining more money with our jobs, and we have, again, this cash crop in our back pocket, it looks like we're on a pretty good course. But knock on wood, man. Because we definitely need that.
Yeah.
We don't want to jinx it at all, definitely. But I see the future being bright for America with money, but we got to start focusing on the people.
Well, and that's why I know we talked about it a little bit last week with the CHIPS bill passing, but it's high time we brought our manufacturing back to the United States.
Absolutely,
instead of shipping it overseas, outsourcing our jobs, bringing it back here and start creating jobs here in the United States.
Absolutely. And if that's the broad horizon for us, then that's good. There are new industries out there that a lot of us haven't even had, some of them haven't even scratched the surface yet. And they're starting to boom and getting bigger and bigger. I'm an open esport fan, and I've preached about that being a huge industry that's growing too. Yeah. There's a lot of new things that we're discovering out there that we can make money off of. We just gotta watch our spending, man.
I'm also looking in the green energy sector.
We got green on our mind,
and it's looking good. I mean, the stock that I own in the green energy sector is up $1 from last week.
Talking about green energy, here in Arizona, I've been seeing more and more postings about houses being able to be funded for having solar instead of paying for their solar. There are some programs out there for that, I guess. So, I'm liking that progressive change. I've openly preached about Arizona's literally a sun. put a big giant ass solar panel out there. There's open lots. Put solar panels there.
With
generate energy.
Over 300 days of sunlight in this state, it makes sense.
Solar panels on schools. Make school energy clean. Come on, continuously focus on school. I work for a waste management company, and we're focusing on green. We're trying to get people to do less invoices by paper. Even though, yes, it's okay for you to do it by paper if you want to file your stuff. But it's really just, we're trying to focus on green, progressive stuff. Again, electric cars are starting to become huge. We've talked about that.
Fast charging stations are, the technology is improving by leaps and bounds.
Refocusing on paying yourself here at Uncle. We talk about current events. What we're talking about here right now is an industry that we can fund ourselves. People are putting their money in these virtual coins. Yes, it's cool and all, but why aren't we not putting money into these new industries?
And here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good question. It's not so much that this is politics, but it's not. But if you pay attention to politics, you see where the money is moving, where it's going, where the spending will be. And you just let your money follow.
Absolutely. And you get to see your money thrive in these businesses and that you fund. You do, especially when you're patient and you watch them go. Yes, there's going to be moments where they spend. There's going to be moments where these companies are going to dip. But when you are there supporting them and it feels like you actually support these companies and watch them grow to become something, it feels good, and also it helps that pocket. I'm telling you, when you openly invest like that and you pay attention to these current events and you know what's coming up new, it helps. It really does. And we started with a penny stock. We talked about our Tesla investment back when it was at, again, $50. We talked about that. We watch these companies grow that we've invested money in, and it openly reflects when you pay attention to these current events and what's new and what's booming.
The one that still kicks me.
Yeah.
I got into Moderna.
Yes, I knew you were going to say it.
Man, I got into Moderna at $46 and sold, I think, at $92, and it went up to $400, man. Oh my God.
And I literally said, I'm like, hey, Gene, we talk about focusing about current events. We have this thing called COVID happening. Yes, it sucks about making money off of people who are going to be dying to this sickness, but we should probably invest into something that's
we
going to
doubled our money, and we pulled out too early.
Too early, man. Anyway, that's a big punch in the face, but again, it reflects that current events is a good investment.
Yeah.
But
pay attention.
That's what we do here at Hanging with Uncle. It's not advice. It's just what we're saying. It's what we do. That's it. We're just openly talking about what we do here. Yeah.
And it's all about making your money work for you.
Exactly. Definitely. Pay yourself. You're a bill. We openly preach it. You are worth investing into, and it is like another bank account, and it's been a good savings account for me. It's helped me in situations. I have an apartment for it. I have had to dabble into it, but hey, one that I'm invested in that is a futuristic progressive stock is doing great. So, knock on wood. Yes. Don't want to jinx it.
No, man, not at all. Well, anyway, I kind of want to go into the DOJ because it looks like Merrick Garland finally got some wind in his sails, and it sounds like he's starting to act a fool, the kind of fool that I like and want, running the Justice Department. We know there was a grand jury impaneled on the January 6th thing because Pat Cipollone, the White House chief of counsel, was just subpoenaed to go to the grand jury.
Yeah.
That's a criminal endeavor. There's nothing civil about going to a grand jury.
No, not at all.
Right?
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal.
So even in the Alex Jones case, where his attorneys gave him all of their digital records from his cell phone, emails and stuff like that, right?
Foreshadowing.
The January 6th has already requested that information to find out the ties that Alex Jones had with Roger Stone and the planning of January 6th.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God. There's so much going on with all that.
They're not done.
No, they're not done, man. And they're just still they're picking people's people one by one. Hey, yeah, we heard about this. Come here.
And you get a subpoena. And you get a subpoena.
Oprah, this shit here.
So
Take it.
I'm glad to see that. And now also, just I'm going to try and paint this picture. With Breonna Taylor.
Okay.
How those officers are now being charged for violating her civil rights.
Finally.
When under the previous administration, under the Tangerine Terror, his Department of Justice didn't do shit.
I mean, we all knew about it day one. We all literally saw it.
But now we have proof that they lied in the affidavit to justify getting the search warrant. Their reasonable cause was not truthful.
It gets you.
And you can't violate somebody's Fourth Amendment right. That is search and seizure. You're going into somebody's home. You got to have a warrant, search and seizure, and you lie about that.
Openly firing through an apartment.
There's got to be consequences.
Openly firing through an apartment and putting others in danger as well.
So why is this administration doing something and the other administration didn't?
Exactly. I don't know. It's just.
Is it because of the skin color of Breonna Taylor and the skin color of the officers?
I don't believe that is the case. I just think it's just.
I would like not to believe it.
I think my mental is more just. My view of the DOJ is just it takes fucking forever. Every time.
It does.
It takes fucking forever. Every time we see justice now. Yeah, how long ago did that happen?
But here's the thing, okay? An intelligent, reasonable man can look at a situation and go, that shit happened. What's taking so long?
Right.
But according to the law, you have to prove every element in front of the jury. And that jury just can't say, look at this, you know what happened.
They also try to cover it up and lie and all that.
They did. So I mean, it's like
find the lies.
You have to find every I to cover every dot to cover every I and every slash to cover every T, and that is what takes so long because you can't skip steps.
We talked about like cutting spending in certain places. I feel like funding needs to go somewhere to help them out.
Honestly, I think they need more attorneys in the DOJ
to help out with that. I mean, with a bigger workload, you think you would go and find more employees?
Funding.
Oh, wait, we need funding? Oh, then let's start funding us then. I'm not necessarily, again, we don't say defund in a way. I want to say fund them so they can train them, so they can be better.
So they can do their job.
Exactly.
So,
everything in our Justice Department needs to get better, from police to operations from behind the scenes to... again, like our justices. Like, our justices are taking away fucking rights. And we need to change that shit, too.
And so look at the IRS. They don't have the personnel to go after everybody that is evading taxes. They come down on people like you and me because we don't have the resources to hire an attorney to fight them. Versus somebody, like on the top of the food chain that's, pulling down 6, 7, 8 figures a year.
Right.
Has the money to gum up the works.
Exactly. No, I completely agree.
Fund the IRS to give them the people they need to go after unpaid taxes, and that would be another thing.
Yeah,
that would be another tool used to generate revenue without having it to come out of taxes from you and me.
Absolutely, yeah, man. No, I completely agree. Now, let's move on to our dumbass of the week. And mine can be a little bit long, so I'm going to talk about mine first, if you're okay with that.
Go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
So, a new version of book burning I'm about to start talking about here. Now, this library stood strong and talked about how they're not going to take LGBTQ authors' books down off the shelves because that's kind of discriminatory in a way. And they're like, books are books. They're novelties. You're going to have it happen, whichever. So there was a vote that happened that 80% approved to defund the library.
Where did that vote come from? Who voted on it? Was it like the city council? I
need to look into it a little bit deeper. I'm trying to find it, but they they put it to a vote, and it was almost an 80% vote on defunding this library just because there was these LGBTQ books in there from these authors. I mean, it's not openly like pro LGBTQ talking about this kind of whatever. It's literally just because
you happen to be.
Yeah, just because they happen to be those type of people that wrote these books.
Now that is called censorship.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, another version of book burning.
It is, because now this qualifies as censorship, because if you have a public library or school library that is being voted on to basically, tell them what they can and cannot have in the library.
Jamestown, Michigan.
Yeah, that's censorship because it's coming from a government entity.
Yeah.
Telling them, and that's where you can't do it. Now, if it was a private bookstore and they decided to take them all out, that's private. That's your business. But when it's a public, our taxpayers' dollars are paying for the books in there, I have an issue with that.
Yeah, 80%, almost an 80% vote. They said. I think it was like a 79%, but that's absolutely insane that people want to defund a place that not only supports open knowledge, but also gives Wi-Fi to people who don't have it, who go over there to work, people who want to go there and do their works and studies and actually use books still, who I still consider sacred in some way. Not sacred, but not like something to trust, something to be, taken care of, something to look like, to learn and gain knowledge from, mainly. So it's like they're taking money away from it, they're taking things away from people, and the Michigan people in Jamestown are my dumbasses of the day.
And for me, that kind of drives home this kind of personal soul, because when I was working on campaigns and you're looking for a place to meet, the library is the perfect place because they have meeting rooms. And you can sit in the library, like you said, there's Wi-Fi, you have access to planning.
Yep.
And you have privacy. So I am a big fan of the library, but I am not a fan of you censoring what I can and can't see. If I want to look at it, I want to. If I don't want to, I'm not going to.
If you would think there would be a good place for you to go learn about yourself, you would go to a library first, wouldn't you?
You would go to a place that has knowledge or information about the topics that you want to seek.
Internet or a library.
Right?
That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, Jamestown, Michigan, you get the dumbass of the week trophy.
Mine is kind of obvious this week. I'm going with Alex Jones.
Agreed, though.
Man, for years.
Yeah.
I mean years after the Sandy Hook shooting. This is almost 10 years ago, I guess. Gosh, Mills at 20? I don't know. It's been a while, though. Him coming out talking about how this was all staged. These are actors. This didn't really happen. And these parents that have lost their kids and that are grieving are now being followed around, being called liars because of the lies Alex Jones has been telling.
Yeah,
right? And so he was finally held accountable. He got sentenced to $4 million to pay in compensatory damages. This is civil. To one family. Yeah. Now those damages he can bankrupt away. But today, punitive damages came down. And those are meant to punish. And they were awarded $45 million. And he cannot bankrupt that away. He's on the hook for every penny of that $45 million until that family gets paid.
And that's one family.
One family.
Think about the other ones who are ready to get some money, too.
Well, now you got the statute of limitations. So how many other have been filed? And I know it was one family, but in a class action, if...
Educate me, Gene.
Yeah. You can have one person leading the class, right? Like maybe this family was tortured the most or suffered the most as a result of the lies of Alex Jones, right?
Right.
but all the other families are enjoined in the lawsuit, they just get less.
X amount, okay.
Right, because they're not the head of the class, they're just part of the class.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's that kind of situation or not. I hope it is.
Because all these families need compensation for their grieving. Definitely. They need something to
but I mean, I watched the judge call him out as a liar in court.
The mom calling him out, too.
The mom calling him out. The attorneys calling him stupid. Finally, till he finally broke down and couldn't run away from it anymore and admitted that, yes, this was real. It took you all that time and having all this evidence thrown in your face before you'll finally say the truth.
Now you have to pay money for it.
Man, Alex Jones, you're a dumb ass.
Exactly.
You're a racist dumbass, and I hope that there is some information in the records your attorneys gave to the plaintiff's attorney that also connect you with January 6th. And anyway, you're a dumbass.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's all the time that we have today, man.
Yep, that's it.
And hit that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that bell for notifications in the future. I'm Zane.
I'm Gene.
And it's been Hanging with Uncle.
And we'll see you next week.
Later.